Today I'll be showing you how to use this fantastic LoRa that gives you a really grounded look and the right amount of style to look a lot less AI generated in a way. And honestly, the style is perfect for something as simple as a profile picture or something as complex as an album cover. The reason why this is such a good get is because the level of prompting, of keywords, of labels that you would have to write to get any of this output is insane. But with this in one simple install in 2 minutes or less, you can have this fantastic style at your fingertips instantly. So without further ado, let's install it. So of course, we're gonna make our way to civitai.com and we're gonna download the Troy style LoRa. Right down here is the file. As we can see, it is compatible with illustrious base models, but specifically the creator of this LoRa has suggested this model right here, but I've already tested a couple of them and it seems to really integrate quite well with a lot of them. Any that are under the illustrious branch, right? Cool. So simply put, download and drop this into the LoRa folder. If you have no idea where that is, check out our how to download models, LoRa's, and Vay video. It's usually linked in the description down below and one of the pinned comments. It's the comment to the pinned reply to the comment. Anyways, yeah. And FYI, if you're ever looking for the links to Civitai or any of the models we're using, unfortunately, because Civitai is an open source, non-judgmental platform, we'll say, it allows all kinds of models trained on all kinds of things, which some happen to be not safe for work. So linking to that on YouTube, which is a very safe for work platform, seems a bit dicey. So how we're going about this is we're basically linking it in our school community, giving ourselves kind of a brace there. So all you need to simply do is go over to our school community, sign up. There's a bunch of cool stuff there, like free resources, S-tier resources, all those kinds of things, courses that will teach you how to do everything, all that stuff. But all you're gonna do is take the name of this video and plop it into the search menu, and it'll be the first link that you likely see. Click that and we'll have every single link to all the things such as models, LoRa's, the whole shebang, and it should be easy to get that way. Also, when you're there, check out some of the cool posts. But again, if YouTube ever changes this and makes it so that that's not a big problem, I'll absolutely start putting them in the comments and stuff like that. But at least right now, just trying to be careful. The goal of this is to try to give you guys information and advice, and I don't want that to be compromised by channel getting banned or something like that. So to meet that end, that's what we're doing. Cool. Now let's get to actually showcasing this fantastic model. LoRa. And you can see right here, it is installed Troy's art style right there. On, we have it at 125. You can also turn it down if you want. I just wanted more of an effect of it. I didn't want to keep having to increase the actual prop weight of this, but alas, here are some of our findings for what we were using. So I used our main model, Perfect Illustrious, which actually gave us really, really good output. And I used Plant Milk, and also it worked fantastically. Of course, Plant Milk ended up having more style. Perfect Illustrious ended up having better overall composition, I guess. Right here, if we go ahead and just copy this prompt, you guys can see what I essentially used here. And I think it looks actually really, really good. You can see that there's some blush here. There's also a right amount of shine, not too much. That kind of looks uncanny. And with the stylization, it's really, really nice. Now with this stylization does come some sort of artistic features, like all of the necks seem a little too thin for me, but that is of course the style of it. But overall, I think it looks really, really great. Of course, whenever there's text, it kind of turns into gobbledygook. So, alas. And if I'm really trying to poke holes, I would say the hand could be better. We can easily do a refinement pass on the hand and it will look significantly better. You can see a duplicate finger right here, but that's super easy to fix. And honestly, probably make a lot of videos in the future trying to fix all those kind of deformations and things like that. But overall, pretty cute. Pretty cute. Now, if we zoom into our prop box, you can see that we are leading with Masterpiece, Portrait, Black Background, and things like that. Hard Edge, just to give ourselves some more definition, ambient light and things like that, but heavily stylized is something I would highly advise you guys work into your prompt, because I think that's the one that actually ends up moving the needle quite a bit. It kind of keeps it leaning in to the stylized idea and not messing with the model that you're using. So if you're using a different model, I think using a word like heavily stylized will be that much more important, because the model has a bunch of baggage that it might be taking. Like for instance, it might be good at doing females, it might be good at doing action shots, it might be good at doing really, really hyper realistic stuff or really a certain type of style. So heavily stylized, I think, leans it into the direction that this model is already going. Alas, you can see our main subjectation right here, which is all increased in terms of its prompt weight, which is girl 1, beautiful. If you didn't do this, you start getting some real, some real rough stuff, gang. Okay, so you want to keep her looking cute and not looking like a 40-year-old crackhead. Okay. Also, funnily enough, rock and roll gesture was the best I could get for the rock and roll devil horns. If you don't do that, she ends up becoming demonic, very demonic. So yeah, devil hands, rough. Now what we could do is we could take this, which is a perfect devil horn hand. We could copy that as a control net and then iterate upon it. But alas, let's stay on key here for a minute. So we have this one really cute little rock and roll girl, right? This could be a cute profile pic if this is something that you want or look like in any capacity, right? But we can also add a little bit more color and like lighting effects and kind of give it a whole different kind of vibe. For instance, this one, which I think looks actually really, really good. And again, ambient light is just trying to basically inject a bunch of light. You can see that there's probably a candle here that it was trying to do. And then that illumination turned the pixels a bit orange. And that probably just decided, hey, whatever, let's give her a cool fire hand. And you know what? I'm here for it. Now, I will say, the hands look a little still demonic based on, I think that's the art style. But dude, look at the thing. My favorite part about this model and its art is just the level of shading and this weird gray way it handles lighting and all that stuff. It looks kind of like cel shaded, but not. It is so cool and just, it looks great. The eyes, I think, are always going to be uncannily big. That's kind of the style of this, and we'll see that when we eventually go into a different type of profile pic. The one thing that stood out to me with this art style is that it very much feels like an album cover in a big way, so I kind of went with that as the theme, and you will see. But before I leaned into the theme, I ended up prompting for something like this, which this is just kind of a cool profile pic you could have. Again, looks kind of artistic and art styly without looking crackhead, cokehead, that kind of stuff. He looks a little malnourished, I'll be honest, but alas. And this was the prompt that I used for that, which is just slim down exponentially, which is masterpiece, portrait shot, all these things, hard edge, again, heavily stylized. This always will say the same, I think. So right here we can see we have man one, or one man, cool, awesome, handsome, etc. These were all things that I was trying to lean it towards, not stuff like this, which was a little much, right? Yeah. So I wanted to lean it more into give it more context clues for what we were trying to go after. We weren't going after hyper realistic. We were going after some sort of kind of generic, nice, cool vibe, right? And just the lighting and everything in this is just so cool. The scattering over here, it's just such a cool art style. I will say, the bone structure, little weird, little sharp, but I think that's the whole vibe for dudes in this art style. Whereas ladies kind of have like a smaller jawline in general, like their face is squished up a little bit. With this one, the bones are sharp in the cheek region. This one was pretty good, but I didn't really like the lighting, so I ended up using a control nut to keep all the composition the same and did another pass with better lighting keywords, I believe. And that gave us a much nicer glow, and everything looks subliminally, slightly better, I think. And looks a lot less intense and a lot more warm and nice, I think. Alas, then I wanted to lean really into the kind of like album rock and roll aesthetic, essentially. So we went with the kind of early 2000s goth, the Black Parade type vibe. Yeah. So we went with something like this, which is, I think, pretty good, except it's a little bit on the young side, but alas, I think that's what I eventually started prompting away from with our second one. But you guys can see, I started getting away from the like sharp, really sharp cheekbones by actually just putting that in our negative prompt. Sharp cheekbones, it's no longer a thing. Femininity, I also wanted to decrease in because that's what some of them started looking like. This was the one beforehand. Just a little bit feminine, so I wanted to kind of adjust away from that, which I probably could increase the weight of that to look more masculine and things like that. Same thing, I put masculine features in here, I believe. We did this one, which I think looks immensely better. This region right here, the eyes could do with a lot of like tweaking and refining, which all you would do in this context. Make sure I'm getting the same output as that, so I'd copy. This is the prompt that we ended up using. All I would probably do is I don't want to touch the nose, I just want to touch the eyes and things like this. So we will just quickly go to do this, and then we will say, we don't want to like change too much stuff, so then we'll say fill, and we'll let that play out. That'll also render way faster because we're not rendering the entire image, just this little pocket. Oh yes, yeah, that looks significantly better. And it's funny, the reason why it looks significantly better oftentimes is because what we're doing essentially is we're giving more pixel density to this one particular area, whereas beforehand is having to make all of the pixels, it's kind of having to share its resources, where now it can just go all into that and look significantly better. That's why it's probably a pretty good idea if you ever wanted to, like, if you didn't like the face or you wanted it to be better, use a control net line art, depending on what you want to do. If you already like the composition of the face and the eyes, but you just want more detail, then this is what you do. But if you want to actually change the composition of your eyes, you have to take off that control net because that's the constraint. But alas, this is also the other one we got, which is a little bit less going on. So this is the normal one, super depressed. Then we have this one, which is really nice. And then we have this one, which I increased masterpiece, which of course will give it more beautifying metrics, really beautiful symmetry. And you can tell it also gives it a little bit more shine, which is why you always need to decrease shine in your negative prompts if you don't want that. But I actually like this one quite a bit. And we need to add a mask layer really quickly and add some gradient here so that it's less of a hard edge. And we just want to fade in the things that we want to keep and get rid of the things that we don't. So once again, like right here is quite a noticeable transition. So we would basically try to decrease our weight just so we're not doing too much this. And then we're going to slowly gradient that downwards. You can see the nose starting to fight a little bit. So we bring back the the nose, we'd let that fade in a little bit. Fantastic. We'd also come over here, lower this, and kind of have a smooth transition there. And then for weird stuff that's more complicated, we can actually get this hair follicle back here, but we need to bring this one in enough so that it's actually alive and well, and make sure that's all very, very clear. And then if we wanted, we could just decrease some of that so that it transitions a little bit nicer. Lovely. Now we have that hair back. Same thing with this one, which I didn't erase fully, but we could actually bring that one back. But this would require a lot more fade lines and stuff like that. Of course, I could just increase the opacity again to have this be a little bit less of an absolute fight. But I honestly don't mind doing it this way in multiple passes. Once again, if we wanted to get really crazy, we could zoom in here and just kind of fade this weird pinky line here. All right, good. And now from far away line, you're good. And if you really wanted to go even more crazy, now that we like the composition of the eyes, now that we like the overall look of it, all we need to do is go here and do a control net. We'll lock in all of this, so this will basically keep everything the same, and then we can do one final pass. We always want to increase our prompt or our strength with this exponentially so that it doesn't do too much playing around. So we want to keep it really adherent to what we had beforehand. So we'll let that render. All right, so that finally finished rendering, and as you can see, it looks pretty good. This is where we started, and this was the attempt which had less control net control, so less constraints. So it was able to kind of fill in the blank a little bit more, which is actually something we didn't really want. You can see it kind of fixed the eyes, but it kept overall that same vibe. But this was the one where we forced the control net to adhere to our newer version that we like the look of more, which as you can see looks significantly more masculine and significantly, I don't know, I actually like the composition of this one a lot more. It's cool that it takes some aspects of the style without going too much into the weeds, you know, but I think this is a much better one. And this was the one after we specifically didn't like the eyes, so we zoomed in and made sure that was perfectly cropped, and then we did a final pass. But that's the use case for why I would use that sort of control net there. Basically, whenever you want to use the control net line art, it's when you like all the composition. You like where the eyes are placed, you like where the mouth is, everything. And then you want to do one final pass, and you can also do like 10 passes just to see how it handles color, lighting, and that's also where you would add things like beautifying metrics so that it kind of makes the skin look really nice, makes the eyes look really detailed and things like that. But you only do that after you've already got the composition so that the AI doesn't have to struggle on where to put anything, right? So yes, but that's only when you like the look of everything. So that's why you need to like highlight and say like, try this again, and pick the one that you like, the overall version of the eyes that like we did, right? So yeah, now let's move on to the next thing. So if you're watching the channel, this is an image we've made from a really, really kind of rough image that started off. Is it this one? Yes, I think this was the base model. So I'm going to show you guys here. This was the one that we made. Boom. Looks pretty rough, but eventually through iteration and through slight improvements using control net, the whole shebang, we eventually got something akin to this. Very nice. So then I wanted to take the same basically outline and the composition, the lines, the overall structure of the image, and I wanted to apply this framework to it. And this was what I got, which was pretty interesting, pretty different. Of course, there's always things that we could touch up, like the hands, etc. would definitely be something I would touch up. But alas, pretty decent. It kept the overall composition while applying this new style. And of course, it lets you also realize what the style is. So as much as it's trying to keep adherence to the eyes, that's our new one that just finished rendering. You can see right here that it basically grew the eyes significantly. It changed the mouth and the overall sequencing really, really a lot, and specifically the nose. I felt like the nose was the thing that jumped the most, as you can see, but just such a cool thing with one quick install. You can take any image from a previous art style and apply this. Now, of course, we can actually see the prompt, which I think will give a lot of understanding of what's going on here. So the prompt that we ended up using, we zoom in on the prompt box. We have masterpiece, portrait shot, all that stuff stays the same, but we have girl one, beautiful, punk rock. And sometimes it goes a little crazy sometimes with the whole aesthetic. So for instance, I believe it was trying to do eyeliner, and then eventually those dots or eyeliner ended up becoming like piercings, and then it ended up getting pretty a little too metal, if I'm honest. It became a little bit demonic. Okay, but alas, punk rock ends up, I guess, signaling that. But I just love the hair. Like, this is something that's kind of cool that you could also splice, is you could render something with this stylization where it gives you this really unique hair, and then you could render it with another stylization that gives it a kind of a different atmosphere altogether. In fact, we can kind of try something right now on the fly. I know I should not spread myself thin. I just can't have this. Is the fun part about the AI thing is, oh, I could do this and I could do this. I could merge these two things together, and oh my god, that's really cool. So really quickly, we're going to basically add a control net to this. Then we're going to actually apply an entirely different model. So we're going to go to our perfect illustrious baseline, We're going to make sure that we don't have anything on there, no sort of different stylization. Lovely. Then we are going to hit generate, and I just wanted to basically merge these together. Okay, so the one just finished rendering. So this was this, which as you can see, it has a lot of the telltale signs of perfect illustrious, which is quite a lot of shine, all that stuff. And also you can see the hair is not quite the same. But what I think is really cool is when you have control net line art like this, it does so much of the heavy lifting because it shows you all of those sharp lines that were embedded in the style. So it can take a model that's not really good at that style, but just because it has that much guidance, kind of create something very similar to this style. You can see right here. It's got a lot of the lines, it's got a lot of the structure, it's got a lot of the the texture and everything associated with it. But this is the thing I wanted to see if we could pull off and do. So we're gonna pull this out, we're gonna put this here. We are ultimately want just the hair from this image. So we're going to add this, we're going to do this, we're going to erase all of this, we're going to decrease all this just real quick, and then we're going to go back to fade line, boom, and then we're just going to try to pull in the hair. I'm going to pull all that through. It's going to have some lighting change, but we can easily fade that through as well. And also, this is like one of my favorite parts about this whole process is you can be like, oh, I really don't like this part. Like in the other image, we had like weird blotchy skin and etc. And this model decided, what if it was gold paint? Just something kind of cool. But maybe we're like, I don't really like the eyes of this one. They kind of look too weird, right? So we can get those eyes and those things back. Maybe we also like some of the aspects of this, but not all of it. So we want some of those things to blend, but not all those things. And we can do a much better job of blending this if we lower the opacity, so we're not dealing with such a heavy hand. And we're going to kind of bring some things in light. Like maybe we like this hair glowing right here, so we want to keep that. Maybe we like some aspects of the lightness of this. We want to keep this dark, but maybe we want to keep this a little bit lighter, so we can let that bleed through. I don't really like this hand, it looks a little weird. I like the other one more. So then we can go ahead and come over here and add that one back like this. Have it look a little more punk rock, very, very cool. Same thing with this one, we can change that. And same thing, we maybe just want the tongue and the mouth because it was dark like that and it stood out in a really big way. And now we've merged both of those things together. See, like that's kind of the really cool part of both of these things is when you think in terms of layering and blending. To me, that makes this all like significantly more empowering. When you could take like this style with this hair that you really liked and this thing and you smash them together and you're like, okay, now I have something substantial. Something that's genuinely new and unique, emerging of multiple styles without just having to sit there and prompt for an eternity being like, okay, well, hopefully this and this and this and this. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is this fantastic art style that is beautiful hands down. And there's even more over at our school. You want the link to it, you can head over to our school community. There's a ton of S-tier resources there as well. There's also a free course that walks you through how to install Krita, showcases all the tools that you'll be using when using Krita, especially making AI art, as well as how to install LoRa's models and vase, in addition to something that I made called the Artist Arsenal, which composites a bunch of things that I find particularly useful. Like for instance, particularly the main thing that I've been using ad nauseum is our prompt forge, which is just a series of keywords with representations of their effects, which are like controlled and constrained to show you the effect of the output rather than the mash pash of all that it is. If you see it, it'll make sense. Alas, check that out if you so desire. But ultimately, you've given me far too much of your time already. I hope I can give you something useful in the future as well. Thank you kindly for your time, and goodbye for now, my friends.